Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to another exciting episode of Hello Student Talk Show. On today's episode, we'll be talking about the mental stress of dealing with expectations from family and friends. It's going to be as interesting as our former mental health segments. Trust me, this one you should stick and stay and watch. If this is your first time, please subscribe, like, share, and then comment. Give as many views as possible so that we can also learn from you, the viewers out there. So we have on our show a very respectable and influential lady who has been on the show before to talk about mental health. She's in the person of Miss Ikelyn Joy. She's a mental health advocate, a strong mental health advocate for that matter. She's the founder and manageress. She's the manageress of Ikelyn Joy Foundation and the PRO of the Psychology Student Association of the University of Ghana. Let's welcome Miss Joy on our show.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's super good to see you again.
Same.
It's like you've grown. I mean, like, that's why I can see me. And I mean,
By the grace of God.
Really? Oh, that we thank God.
Sure.
We really thank God. I mean, thank you for coming to the show again and welcome back.
Thank you.
Our first segment was super interesting. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. Today, we are talking about something which is entirely different but closely related to mental health. So let's go straight and dive into our issues. So when we talk about dealing with expectations, what comes to mind?
Okay, so dictionary explains expectations as a strong belief that something should happen or something should be the case. That is, you are hoping for something. So we normally say, I'm expecting this.
Okay.
So that is the simplest definition I can give it to expectation, that something should be the case. So dealing, when we talk about dealing, that is handling or acting towards something. So in this context, what do we call it? Dealing with expectation, acting towards expectations.
Okay. So far, how do you think expectations from our family and our friends? I mean, we all have expectations, to be honest. Even myself, before I got into the university, I set a target for myself that by the end of first year, I should be a course rep, I should do this, I should do that. But then, by the end of the year, or when I completed my first year, I mean, there were some expectations I couldn't meet, and it was very depressing. I didn't feel fulfilled enough. And in the end, I felt like, I should have done better, right? So how do you think our expectations become a burden or a weight on us as students?
Okay, expectation can become a burden or a weight depending on how you think.
Okay.
Some expectations are equal to our strength. For example, you know you are brilliant. You write this exam, you can easily get A. It is equal to your strength. Somebody to the same expectation might be more than the person's strength. You know that you take maybe 3 days or 4 days to even cover a page, and you are expecting first class. You get it? Or even valedictorian, let me say. Unless miracle, you get it. So some expectations are equal to our strength, some expectations are above our strength, and some expectations are below our strength. As I said, it depends on how you think. Okay. So for it to bring weight upon you, there is this cognitive psychologist. When I use the word cognitive, forgive me, I'll be using this kind of term, cognitive.
Please
when we say
explain after.
when we say cognitive, it deals with the brain, how you think, how you reason. You get it? So there is this cognitive psychologist who said that how we behave or how we act is as a result of how we think. So if you think positively, you behave positively. If you think negatively, you behave negatively. So when we end up in mental illness, our cognitive psychologist will say that we thought such a way and then we ended up in such a way. So now you are expecting something, you have admitted it, that this is what I'm expecting. I want to get a valedictorian. Whether it is equal to your strength or it's above your strength, this is your expectation. Now you shouldn't make it very static, like it must be done as a valedictorian, or first class, it must be done. If you're not careful, it will affect your mental health if this expectation is not met.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question. How do these expectations affect our mental health? Like I said, I was expecting some things in first year that I wasn't able to fulfill, and then I got depressed. I don't know how it happened. So how does it affect our mental health, and then how do we deal with such expectations so that it doesn't affect our mental health?
Okay, so on our previous episode, I said something like mental health, it escalates.
Okay.
You get it? So, for example, you expect A in a certain course, and it ends up being B, and you take it to yourself. You start thinking negatively. So, with this man, I was talking about the cognitive psychologist Aaron Beck. He proposed a theory that says that we call it the ABC theory. Okay. You face the reality, you think about it, and you get a consequence. You
So
get it?
A,
B, C.
C.
Yeah. So
face reality.
C, and the B is like a belief or what you think about
Okay.
it, and the C is the consequence.
Okay.
So now, when you face the reality, how you think about it, as I said, if positively, you face positive consequence. If negatively, you face negative consequence. So now you've gotten B or C plus, and you begin to interpret that result as, oh, I'm incompetent, I'm useless, I'm dull, I can never be good. You start to have those kind of negative thoughts in your head. Now, when you begin to have this negative thought, you've already degraded yourself. So you're not even attempt to take another step.
So is that where, in this case, low self-esteem comes
Yes,
in?
it comes in. They are all embedded in this mental illness. They are the beginning of mental illness. Okay. You get it? Okay. So when you take it as that stage, that you can never do anything, now you be in yourself, and that thing is always eating you up. You cannot do it. And you see your friends going higher, and you are always there. A time will come, you don't seek help as usual. Students, they are always in their dormitory or their halls, themselves, crying, and the thing is eating them up.
So don't you think that breeds another form of, I wouldn't say it's a mental illness, okay, but then it's some kind of a bad trait, so jealousy and then bitterness?
They are all parts.
Okay.
So as I said, how you are thinking is affecting your behavior. Okay. You think you are not good, somebody is better than you, and you're inferior to that person. So you begin to jealous the person. Okay. You get it? Mm-hmm. So when you keep that thing in yourself, a time will come, your whole behavior will change. You jealous the person, you not get closer to that person. So you isolate yourself from the public. They are all, let me say, basic symptoms of mental illness. Okay. Isolation is a very dangerous weapon.
What if I say I prefer being alone?
No. Psychologists will say that it's not good. At least you should have 1 or 2 people around you. Okay. You shouldn't isolate yourself from people. It can lead to a whole lot of mental illness, such as we have something we call social anxiety disorder. With a social anxiety disorder, the person doesn't feel comfortable in public. The person will be in public and the person is like panicking, shivering. So when it comes to student aspect, there are those students that, I'm not saying those students are like particularly going through that disorder, but all these things are part. There are those students that when they come to class, you don't see they were in class. Because right after class, they'll pack they don't want everybody to see that they are in the public. Okay. You get it? It can also lead to something we call agoraphobia. For them, they cannot even be in public because daily lives, they've isolated themselves from the public, and they are used to all of them being in the room alone. So when they are in a room with 1 or 2 people, they don't feel comfortable. So they don't like going to the public. That is the agoraphobia.
Okay. But then I can also say that I was born this way. The fact that I don't want to mingle with people doesn't mean I'm dealing with a mental illness. Okay, and now people would say the world has become very dangerous. And we've heard this song, Nipa be a cobra. So if I go out there and I go and tell this person that this is what is happening to me, and then the person goes out there and then spreads. We've spoken about this in our previous, but then don't you think that it also becomes another burden altogether on us?
So I said we have a lot of causes of mental illness, from biological to psychodynamic to socioculture. In the aspect of you being nurtured in that way, I would say it falls under social culture. Okay. You get it? So that's how you were cultured. Okay. So that thing can cause mental illness. So we have social cultural causes of mental illness. If it is not being taken care of or taken into serious consideration, and you are always by yourself not speaking out, it will lead to some mental illness that you never dreamt of being inside.
So we've spoken about dealing with expectations of yourself. How do you deal with expectations from your family and your friends? Because let me take an influential or let's say a student leader as an example. You know, student leaders, you are expected to be academically good, you are expected to behave in a certain way and all of that. So here in the case, let's take me as an example. I'm a student leader, and then after first year, second year, third year, I see that my grades are not as I expected. But then people are looking up to me. People are expecting me to get a first class or second class upper. How do I deal with expectations from these people looking up to me, from my parents that have paid fees, and then from my guardians or other relatives that are also expecting that, oh, Tiwah de, also they be a lawyer, also on your grade say, also you say. How do you deal with such expectations?
Okay, so first of all, you have to know yourself and be realistic. It begins from within.
I really like that answer.
You know yourself. You know yourself and be realistic. Some student leaders have set a high standard for themselves. Okay. You get it? They've made the public know that they are much more better than every student on campus. Okay. But as a student leader, you have the leadership skills. That is why you are there. So you have to let the people know that you are just like them. You also go through this academic stress, but you know how to cope with them. The difference between you, the student leader, and the students is the leadership skills. But there is no difference again. Okay. You are all students, you sit in the same classroom. So as student leaders, we shouldn't set high target for ourselves. When you raise the standards high, of course, we will look up to. There is this one guy that a lot of people are waiting to see the final graduation list, and they'll be like, oh, so this person must get first class, you see, because of how you raised yourself. Okay. So that thing can be also, let me say, cause of that. You should be realistic. You know you are not good. When you are speaking, make it very clear. Okay. Some people, when they are speaking, they have to show that they are very knowledgeable. But when it comes to academy, you know you are not good. But because you are speaking in public, you have to raise the standard for yourself, which will bring more expectations from friends. Okay. And when it comes to family, I will say that as you know yourself, speak to your family. They say go to medical school. You know you can't do it. Don't look at the fact that you love your parents or what you want to do everything for them. You will go and suffer alone. You get it? So you have to speak to them. If you think you are stuck or you can't do whatever they are expecting from you.
Okay. So hello, lovely viewers. So our topic is how to deal with expectations from our family and our friends so that it doesn't escalate to be a mental illness. I'm really enjoying it like I enjoyed the first one, but then we'll have to wrap up, unfortunately. I will make sure Miss Ikelyn comes back to the show to come and talk more about mental illness. So Miss Ikelyn, before we wrap up, I have a question. How do you think students can deal with these expectations and make sure that it doesn't overturn into a mental illness?
So for me, I do not use what we called it must be done principle. Okay. Though I aim for first class, people really ask me, so you do want to get, yes, I aim for it, but it doesn't mean I must get it. I'm working for it. If I get it, fine, because anything can happen. It can be different, 0.1. What will you do? You get it? So I don't use the principle of it must be done. I work towards it. If I get it, fine. If I don't get it, I move on to the next stage. You get it? So let us not always put it in our mind that as we are expecting this, or as our friends are expecting this from us, or even our family, it must be done. When it comes like that, and that expectation is not met, it will bring a whole lot of frustrations, disappointments, a whole lot of worries that can affect your mental health.
Okay, so finally, what do you tell students out there, like myself, and definitely those watching, on how to deal with expectations? What are your final words to those students out there?
So my last words is, let's mind what we think about. When we face life circumstances, let's mind how we interpret those life circumstances, because how we interpret it will have an effect on how we behave and act in the society.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ikelyn.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We hope to see you again
Sure.
as time goes on.
I'll be pleased.
Thank you. Hello, lovely viewers. I hope you really enjoyed this session. It's been very educative and interactive. Once again, my name is Tiwah Sarfo. Don't forget to mind what you think about because it can affect your mental health. See you same time next time on Hello Students Talk Show. Bye.